Hey everyone, welcome back. We are not done with the series on the Marshalls and the Axe FX3 just yet. I got a question a little while ago on my channel saying, basically, if I could design a multi-channel amplifier in the real world, what would I ask for? And I'm obviously a huge fan of Marshalls and modded Marshalls and stuff like that, and I got thinking about that question recently, and I thought it might be nice to apply to this setting of the Axe FX3 and make a hypothetical 4-channel Dream Marshall. So we have 4 channels on the amp block, which is really nice, meaning that we can have 4 totally separate amps in there for 4 totally different tones. So what I have done is set up 4 scenes, one with each channel, so channel A, B, C, D, 4 different Marshall amps, and I'm going to show you guys how I would set it up, and this is kind of like my hypothetical dream channel switching Marshall. Going over some stuff first, the cabs that I'm using, factory number 2, 842, probably my favorite cab in the Axe 3 by York Audio, and then what I'm doing is blending it with Factory 2 578, which is this 121 impulse of a 4x12 Marshall, I believe a greenback, by ML, and that's a really great sounding impulse on its own, and I'm blending a bit of that in. Basically, I just like the blend. It's like a mix of V30s and greenbacks, a mix of a 57 and a 121, so best of both worlds there, and blending IRs from 2 different manufacturers is kind of fun as well. You get a different mix going on, which I think is always nice to play around with. And then after that, my typical guitar post EQ, pulling out a little bit of 3.3 and a little bit of 5.3. As you can see, very, very surgical cuts there. High passing at, what am I high passing? 80 Hertz, and low passing at 10K. And I've got a little bit of plate reverb from the London plate, just 1 second there. So we'll go through it. I'll just talk you through really quickly. Basically, I'm just applying the tips and tricks from the earlier videos in the series. So channel 1 I want as a clean channel, and my favorite clean Marshall is a Brit JM45. If you want to know how I'm setting this up, basically go and watch the tutorial on that. But you can see bass low, mid and treble high, a little bit of input drive. I'm playing this Hamer Standard. The neck pickup is a Seymour Duncan Jazz, and this is a beautiful clean sound, I think anyway. And if you hit it hard there, it starts to break up. What you could do then is kick in this drive block that I've got sitting here, an FET boost, which gives you this. Which adds a bit of grit, and I've also got a wah sitting in there, and I've got a phaser set up to be a uni vibe. So if you're going for a Robin Trower kind of vibe with this, and that is my hypothetical clean channel on this Dream 4-channel amp. Well, it's a real thing. It's the Axe FX3. It does what real amps do and so much more. So let's go to channel number 2. And this is just a straight up Plexi Crunch. You can see here I'm using the Plexi 6550. I haven't really done any tweaks except lower the drive, lower the input trim, and again the Plexi settings, low bass, middle and treble pushed. These IRs together are a little bit brighter than normal, so I haven't had to push the middle and the treble as much, but this is just a great straight up classic rock tone, I think. I did lower the bright cap a little bit on this one as well, but yeah, that's just, to me, that's what you want a Plexi to sound like. Channel 3 I've set up as a lead channel, I should say scene 3, so I've added delay there, and for this I'm using the Brit Silver. The Brit Silver I think is perfect if you want a beautiful fat creamy lead tone. On the neck pickup you get this. So that is, I mean, the Silver Jubilee is a pretty unique Marshall, and I think that gets close to that kind of tone. And then on Scene 4, Channel 4, this is what I call Beast, because this is the big, thick, modded 800 kind of sound that I really love. I'll walk you through the mods that I've done really quickly. The big one is in the power amp section, post-phase inverter master volume, and then I've got the master turned up to 8. Then I've changed it to KT88 tubes. I've got the saturation switch engaged. I've got an input boost happening, which I'm using is the T808 mod, adding 15 dB again. I've turned down Triode 2 plate frequency to, what is that, 3000 Hertz. What's the other mod here? In the speaker drive section, I've turned the speaker compliance down a little bit, making the virtual speaker a little bit stiffer. Input EQ, I've just set the low cut to 80 Hertz. And I think that's about it. Oh, and the other big one is the tone stack in the preamp section. I've changed to the Atomica tone stack. Talked before about how much I love the Cameron Atomica model, so I thought it would be a cool thing to take the Brit 800 and just chuck the Atomica tone stack in there. And then I've also got a little bit of multiband compression happening for those like Andy Sneap style settings, just to tighten up the palm mutes. This is one of my favorite high gain rock metal sounds. It sounds beast mode, I think. So much darker than the other sounds, but that's kind of got more of a modern take on the 800 kind of thing. Of course, with this, if you want to play solos with it, kick the delay on, which is, in this case, I should have it set as a stereo bucket brigade delay, and put the drive pedal on, and it's crazy. So there you go, that is how we can combine all of those tutorials that I've been doing and sort of walkthroughs and breakdowns of the Marshall models in the Axe FX3. And to me, that would cover all the sounds you would need for a rock or a metal gig. Obviously adding effects to taste depending on what you need. Clean sound, a great sort of classic rock sound, a really smooth, creamy lead sound, and then just a straight up crazy beast mode high gain kind of sound. So yeah, I'll put this preset up on Axe Change because it's using stock cabs, super easy. You can take it, you can modify it, you can do whatever you want with it. Hopefully it inspires you to get in there and play around with the channels feature and the scenes feature in the Axe FX3, and yeah, to dive into all these wonderful Marshall amps. I think it's really, really cool. What I'm going to do before I go, I'm going to save this lead scene as scene 5. So we've got the Brit 800, well, the modded Brit 800. Everything else is on there. Yeah, so this is going to be the lead 2, I'll call it. There we go, that's kind of cool. And then scene 4, I'll just call Beast. And I'll turn the extra effects off, and that's kind of like a rhythm scene. So it's kind of like a 4-channel amp with an extra solo boost and all the effects. If you guys enjoyed the video, consider hitting subscribe. If you do hit subscribe, hit the little bell, grab the preset on Axe Change, and I'll see you all around very soon.